history have shaped American society and made it something completely different from its European roots.
Americans over time had developed a sense of individualism and independence, which we still have today.
Jackson Turner, an American historian, believed that the westward movement made up by American history starting from Columbus's expeditions to the New World, and detailed this idea in his frontier thesis, part of his essay, The Significance of the Frontier in American History. Facilitating the movement west was an ever-advanced technology. In order to farm on the dry prairies, settlers developed systems of dry farming and deep plowing, including irrigation. Furthermore, they used hardier strains of wheat from Russia, since, anything can grow in Russia. It has to be pretty hardy, because it's Russia.
New forms of technology made westward expansion possible by making prairies livable where they previously couldn't be settled.
Railroads were also a vital part of westward movement. They made the movement of people and supplies faster and simpler, allowing people to settle further west without as much difficulty. Gave startup land to railroad companies, starting on each coast, and for each mile of railroad laid, they were given control of the surrounding plots of land. They then sold the land to settlers, encouraging the population and growth of cities around the railroad tracks.
Railroads' convenience led to their spread throughout the whole nation. Furthermore, the Compromise of 1877 provided for federal funding for internal improvements in the South, allowing railroads to spread more in the South while they had previously only dominated in the North.
In the late 1800s, the persistent pushing of Americans westward led to the continued oppression of Native Americans when they obstructed settlements by protecting their lands. Americans dealt with this issue by forcibly removing them to crowded reservations, contributing to the destruction of native culture. Prior to this, native culture had always been desolated by the introduction of white people's disease and alcohol, as well as bloody struggles between natives and settlers.
In the late 1800s, there was a movement of people called the Assimilationists, who, as their name suggests, want to assimilate Native Americans into white culture. Part of this was the Dawes Severalty Act, which stopped the government from considering tribes as legal entities. Instead, each family head was given 160 acres of land, and told that if they acted like good white settlers, they'd be given the deeds to the land as well as citizenship after 25 years.
The Dawes Act also provided for the land not divided up and given to natives to be sold to railroad companies. Instead, the profit would be used to federally fund civilization of natives.
Such as the Carlisle Indian School were established that removed young children from their tribes and taught them the American customs. Field matrons were also sent to Native American reservations to teach women about the values of chastity and hygiene, as well as to educate them in the art of needlework. Clearly, these were vitally important to the development of civilization.
In general, the main point was an attempt to make the Native Americans more individual. 1881, Helen Hunt Jackson wrote the novel Century of Dishonor, detailing white mistreatment of Native Americans. In it, she discussed the horrors of reservation life and how Native Americans were cheated out of their land by the government's violation of its own treaties. She followed this novel with the romance story Lamona in 1884, also primarily to show the mistreatment of Native Americans, specifically California natives, this time.
Jackson's novels had an impact on the way Native Americans were seen by the citizens. Before this point, the government had never been held responsible for its own actions, but Jackson's writing revealed the blatant racial inequality that the government was a part of.
During this time, whites were terrible toward their Native American counterparts. They denied them citizenship in the country that had been theirs to begin with. They made them wait an unrealistic 25 years to get it back, and even then, it was returned only if the natives had adopted and maintained the foreign and, in their eyes, probably disturbing customs of the whites. The westward expansion greatly benefited the whites, it did anything but for the Native Americans, who were abused and evicted as a result of it. During the Gilded Age, waste, extravagance, speculation, and graft reduced the moral stature of republic. Thank you for joining us for America, the Story of Us, the Christmas special.
Jingle bell rock, jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring, snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell